Welcome to the Get Right with God podcast with Jamargrimsley, where we're all a work in progress. Nobody has their life all the way together. We're all trying to get right with God.
This is the explanation of why God says you are ready. What am I talking about? First off, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Get Right with God podcast. I'm your host, Jamar Grimsley, and I know that you guys can see the title there. It says that this is the explanation of why God says you are ready. This word is for somebody that feels ready. You feel ready, but you've been waiting a while, right? And then this word is also for somebody that feel like they're not ready, but God knows that you are ready. I don't even say God feels like you are ready. God knows that you are ready, though you don't feel like you're ready. But this is the reason why God says that you are ready, right? Your faith has been tested most in the place of isolation, right? You had no one to turn to and no support system. You were forced to rely solely on God, right? Faith is easy when everything was going right. But how do you behave when there's no clear answer, right? God is saying that you behaved in the right way when you did not have a clear answer. And God set it up in a way where every out or every opening that you would be able to get from or get help from, he'll block that off because he wants you to be able to just trust him solely, right? Where you are forced. He said, I allow no support system and you will be forced, right? You got to be forced to rely on me, right? Sometimes that may seem scary, you guys, when you don't know where you're going to get your next, your rent paid or how you're going to get this next thing. So God will block all channels for you to get any help because he wants you to rely on him, because when he does it, it'll be so evident that it was nothing but the Lord that did that. And nobody will be able to get the glory for it but him, right? He says, when you look back, you will realize that in isolation, you grew so much in wisdom and relationship with me. You can't grow in me when you're surrounded by distractions, right? Your season of isolation is coming to an end. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, you've been surrounded by distractions. Maybe is there some things that God had to remove from your life? It could have been some people, or it could have been some habits or some things about you. But God has said, whatever it was distraction, right? There was distractions. He said, I could not grow you, right, in me while you were surrounded by distractions. What is that thing that left your life, right? What is that thing that left your life, right? He says, your season of isolation, it is coming to an end, right? He says, the isolation, it was not meant to punish you, though it seemed unfair. So somebody, it just seemed so unfair that you probably couldn't do what other people do, and you probably couldn't get this certain job, or you couldn't go to this certain place, or you couldn't go to this certain church, and there's certain things that God would just keep blocking in your life, and things just wasn't working out. That's why he says it is unfair. It seems unfair, right? He says that you were there to be built, meaning I put you by yourself, or I took you and separated you from others, and I did that so that I can build you, right? He says you are not the same person that you were when you went in. Remember, before he separated you, or before he put you in isolation or solitude, or however you want to call it, before you went there, child of God, can you remember how your life was before he took you there, right? Haven't you grown since you went in? And now you're about to come out. He's saying you have so much more wisdom and so much more knowledge, and you have so much more revelation. You know him now on a level than you did when you first went in, right? He's saying you are not the same person when you went in. He said the old you no longer exists. Whatever you were, this previous person, he says that one no longer exists because now you're new, right? You're something new. This one right here didn't have wisdom. This one didn't have knowledge. This one didn't really know me like that. This one didn't understand much. But that person that didn't know much, he's now gone. And now he says that you are no longer existing. That old person no longer exists. He said, you are now operating at a higher state of awareness, right? Strength and spiritual maturity, right? You have been set apart for a reason, and it's about to be revealed, my chosen one, right? You are now operating at a higher state of awareness, right? Strength and spiritual maturity. Can't you tell that you've grown in God? You've grown spiritually. Now you're able to use discernment, and you're able to hear God, and you're able to be so sensitive in the spirit that when God is speaking, or when God is, you know how you could be going through something, and you'll be like, I know God is in this. I can't explain it, but I know God is in my situation. I just feel God is in it. You're so sensitive in the spirit. Now, he says that in that place, you've been spiritually matured, right? He says that you were set apart for a reason, and it's about to be revealed, right? Meaning like you about to come out. You are about to come out. The title says this is the explanation of why God says that you are ready, right? This is explaining to you, why would you be ready? This is the answer right here, right? Your time of solitude has served its purpose, meaning you've learned all that you needed to learn in that place where you were, child of God. There's no more to learn. Right now, it's time to put what you learned out. It's time to use what it is that you've learned, what you've been taught in that place of aloneness, right? He says it has served its purpose. He said, I needed you to detach from the noise of the world, and I had to remove the false connections that were holding you back, right? So I guess this is some people that he had to remove from your life, or some things. He said these things were holding you back. What is it that was holding you back that is no longer a part of your life, right? He said I had to remove those, but he said false connections, right? It says he had to strengthen you for the journey ahead. Right? You needed this wisdom. You needed this knowledge. You needed this understanding. You needed what God has placed in you, what he's done through you in that place of isolation, the place where you grow, right? You needed that, right? He said you needed that. I had to strengthen you for the journey ahead, right? If you wouldn't have went to isolation and you wouldn't have learned anything about God, and you wouldn't have had no wisdom, and God used that place of isolation, child of God, right? He says for the journey which is ahead, right? So now you have what it is, because he says that you're ready. Now you have what it is that you need for the journey ahead. He says there are people that I will send into your life that is your soul tribe. So I didn't know that word, soul tribe. So I looked it up, right? It says that, what is it now? No, that's not it. That's not it, y'all. I got it written somewhere. Your soul tribe, right? He says that this is your soul tribe. I'm going to send soul tribe. I'm sending people into your life, right? He say, I've already decided that it's your time to step into the fullness of who you are. The connections you've been waiting for, the divine partnerships you've been praying for, it is all manifesting now. Embrace the people that I am sending into your life. Your days of walking alone are over. Now, you guys, this is a word, but I have 3 parts to this. This is just word 1, right? And the title is, this is the explanation of why God says that you are ready. Like I said, if you feel ready or not, when God says you're ready, right? And if you are ready and you've been waiting, it's your time. Now, this is why you were being probably held up, or you was still in training at the time. So God wasn't going to allow you to go out yet, right? For somebody, you are ready. And that was the explanation of why he said that you are ready, child of God, right? Yeah, you guys, this is an excellent word. And it's not for everybody, but you would know if the word is for you, if I'm speaking to you. You'll know if I'm speaking to you or not. But again, the title for this word is, this is the explanation why God says you're ready. Somebody, he's about to put you out, because you've been strengthened and you've learned, and you've grown in him, and you've grown spiritually mature, right? You are his chosen one, and he needed you to detach from certain noise, people in the world, false connections, all of those things, you guys. God was doing that, and that was part of your training. He said you can't hear me when it's too much noise around you. So I got to get rid of the noise, right? So that I can get you prepared for what it is that I have for you. And you guys, I don't know how God is going to do it, but just know that this is the instruction. This is the explanation of why God says that you are ready. And this is part 1 of 3 videos. Just keep a lookout for the other 2. All right, be blessed.
I made right with God. Come and do it now. Under the cross of Jesus, I lay my burden down. It was on that old cross